Okay, welcome everyone. Today's topic is retire with real estate in 3 years. So what is it? What is it that you need to do? What would it take to have that financial freedom, to have that freedom of time? Okay. So first of all, let's define what people have in mind when they think retirement. What is it like? Okay. So I'm going to show you what it's like to have most important freedom of time. Okay, financial freedom is very important, but freedom of time, it's just to me number one. Okay, because life is short, and if you don't have freedom of time, it's just not worth it. Okay, being able to do what you want when you want, do exactly what's truly meaningful in your life is the most important intangible asset that you can possess. Imagine being able to never, ever, ever miss a single highlight of your loved ones again. Wouldn't that be amazing? That's what I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so being financially free and most importantly, have freedom of time means that there's no difference between a Monday and a Saturday. Every day of the week happens to be a Saturday or a Sunday. Does that make sense? So all you think about is what you're gonna do that is truly meaningful in your life. In my life is spending quality time with my loved ones, my kids, my mom, my parents, my wife, and close friends. Okay, so that's what's truly meaningful. That was taken yesterday. Evanston downtown. We went for a coffee and then we went to the park. This is at my mom's, being crazy, doing yoga on the bed. So it gets a little bit wild, but we're just having a great time. So now, how do you get to this point in such a short amount of time? I'm going to show you. I'm going to give you 3 secrets today. Okay. But before we dive into that, let me tell you what the traditional way of thinking for most people is when it comes to retirement. Okay. So they think that to get to the retirement, you need to be like 65, 70 before you can start enjoying life. That's a myth. And we're going to crush that myth today because that's what most people think. Okay, so I'm going to start doing what I truly love when I retire. Well, guess what, friends? We don't know how long we're going to stay in this life, okay? So we need to do it now. We need to do it today. Live today as the max. So we don't need to wait forever to do what's truly meaningful in our life. And not only that, but I realize that most people when they retire, they start to withdraw, right, from their savings, whatever they accumulated over a period of 30, 40 years, right? So at the end of the day, they still worry, right, that they're going to run out of funds and maybe the pension system is not going to support. So it's not a great place to be. So what about if you were to be here, okay? That you don't need to wait 20, 30, 40 years, right, to retire, but instead, not only are you going to build wealth and net worth in a very reasonable amount of time. So I'm talking about 3 to 7 years, okay? And not only that, but once you reach that point, you can start to withdraw money, okay? And guess what? Most importantly, your net worth is not going to go down. You see the difference between the traditional path? So the minute people reach like 65 years old, they start to withdraw money, right? So the net worth, guess what? Starts to go down. Even some people who don't have a pension, they start to do what's called reverse mortgages, meaning they put it in on their property and they start eating up their equity. So over time, their net worth continues to decrease. So it's a big fear, right? Imagine living all your life, 60, 70 years, just to find out that your net worth is going down, that you don't know if you're going to be able to pay for what you like. So it's not the best place. So what I want you to achieve, and I want to make sure that this is your path, not only are you going to be able to build net worth very quickly, but it's going to continue to go up. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, 80, the longer time passes, the wealthier you're going to become. Okay, so to be able to accomplish this, I'm going to show you 3 secrets how you're going to be able to increase your net worth exponentially. Okay, which is what we've done, right? In the last 2.5 years, we accumulated 30 rentals. Okay, cash flow is close to 15,000 per month. Okay, but that's a great point to mention. Cash flow, right? You may not need. People think that, well, I'm gonna need 10,000 per month to be able to live the same lifestyle. It's not necessarily true. You'll be surprised. This is what it takes to be very successful. Okay, you need to live under your means. And to be able to do that, not only will real estate be the best way for you to accomplish that. So I'm going to show you some numbers for you to better understand this. So this is the plan, right? How we're going to accomplish that. Most people, and it's advisable to diversify. Okay, so what does that mean? That it's a good idea to put your money in different mechanisms of investment. Like a lot of people save it in short-term bonds, like cash, something that is very liquid. Other people prefer to put it in retirement plans, like 401k, pension plans. And then this is the best way for you to accomplish the goal that I just mentioned earlier. Rental properties. That is absolutely the way to do it. Okay? So how are we going to make it happen? Look at this. Your original value, 50,000, that you're going to invest constantly into the business on a yearly basis for the next 3 to 7 years. Okay, so 50,000 is not a great investment, but look at the growth rate. So the future value of this investment in the next 3 to 7 years is going to be exponentially high. Why? Because property values continue to go up. Okay, why? Population grows, so people need a place to live. But most importantly, here you have 2 benefits. Not only will your net worth increase over time, but so is your cash flow. And that is critical for you to be able to live without worrying about having income coming in, right? So that is the cash flow. So look at the table below. The table below shows cash flow coming from the different means, like cash, 401ks, and most importantly, rental properties. Now, at this point, not only will your cash flow continue to grow on a yearly basis. Why? Because the rental market has been super strong for the last 10, 15 years. Why? Population grows, right? And real estate is a scarce resource. So rents will continue to go up. Therefore, you're going to be able to increase your cash flow on a yearly basis. Okay, so next I'm going to show you how to accomplish that. Okay, so there are going to be 3 secrets that not only will I share with you, but we are going to help you have this available to you. So number 1, you are going to need training and knowledge on real estate, okay? Especially, we're gonna give you today the secret sauce. So what is it that you need to do in real estate? Because in real estate, you have 3 exit strategies, right? You can flip, you can buy and hold, you can wholesale. So people take few of those exit strategies, some take only one, but I'm gonna show you out of those 3 strategies, which one you need to focus on and how you need to do it, okay? Because there's a secret to everything. Number 2, you need a team, okay? Most important, you need a mentor, okay? Or mentors. It is so important. No one ever makes it by himself or herself. It is so critical for you to have a team. And not only that, but you always have to have a mentor. So you're gonna need a great attorney, you're gonna need a great accountant, inspector, lender, contractors, brokers, and also virtual assistants. Okay, I'm gonna cover that in just a second. Because why did I highlight virtual assistants? It is very important for you to leverage from other people's time. So even if you don't have time to do certain tasks, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Why? Guess what? Because you're gonna have somebody else do those miscellaneous tasks for you that become very critical over time. Because what I found out is that the bottleneck for people's success is, guess who? Themselves, believe it or not. So you will become the main bottleneck of your success. So the key for you to be able to retire in 3 to 7 years is for you to not become the bottleneck. So you cannot play many roles. You only need to focus on 3 activities in real estate, which I'm going to show you shortly what you need to focus on when we talk about secret number 1. And finally, you have to have great deals, okay? Because that's what most successful investors have. They have great deals. Number 2, they understand basic analysis. And number 3, they have funding. But guess what? They have funding because they have a great deal, okay? Pro investors are going to be using lenders that focus on the asset itself, on the property. So if it's a great property, they're going to get funding for it. And that's what we're finding right now, that we got a couple of properties on the contract with a lot of equity. Guess what? The minute we made a phone call to the lender, they said, Hugo, this has enough equity and will generate enough cash flow that funding is not going to be a problem. Okay, so these are the 3 secrets that you have to be successful. Okay, and then I do want to emphasize on number 2, because what I found is that a lot of people want to learn too much about different areas of real estate. Like they want to learn a lot about property management. They want to learn a lot about law. They want to learn about a lot about taxes, inspection. Stop doing that, okay? You need to focus on 3 things. You need to be making offers, talking to owners, and talking to brokers. That's when you're gonna be making money. Anything else that you do is overhead. And guess what? We are gonna help you take on that overhead for you, because we want you to focus laser beam on the activities that are gonna make you money. I don't want you to focus to lose track of what you need to do to make money in real estate, okay? Because it's extremely easy in real estate to deviate your attention and then not become successful. Very easy. So this is what you need. 3 things: training, the secret sauce, which I'm going to show you next, and then we're going to cover the team section, and finally, how to have access to those great deals. Okay, so number 1 and number 3 are going to be related. So I'm going to show you the training, the secret sauce that is tightly coupled to great deals. Okay, so we're going to be covering 1 and 3 simultaneously. So I'm going to share our strategy. Okay, this is what has worked tremendously well for us. This is how we were able to accumulate 30 rentals, cash flowing close to 15,000 a month. Okay, so this is a strategy. Okay, you have to focus on rentals, and when you buy rentals, you have to follow a sequence of steps. You're gonna buy the property, which is going to need to be a great deal. You're gonna rehab the property, okay? Then you're gonna rent the property. Then you're gonna refinance the property, and finally, you're going to repeat the process. So it's going to be like a cookie cutter mechanism, okay? Super, super important. This is the secret sauce of building a very fast net worth in the next 3 to 7 years. Okay, so for you to become financially free, but most importantly, have that freedom of time. So you don't have to be chasing money. You're gonna make money work for you because we are going to be leveraging from two things. We're gonna be leveraging from debt, good debt, okay, because you have bad debt. The bad debt is considered when you buy something that causes you to have an outflow of cash. And the good debt is a debt that you never pay. Well, what does that mean that you never pay? You are going to have your tenants pay for the debt. Not only that, but they will also put cash flow in your pocket on a monthly basis. Okay, so that's one thing that we're gonna leverage off. And the second thing, taxes. When you do real estate and we focus on rentals, that all has to be done under your entity. So meaning you have to create a business, like an S corporation, LLC, okay? Because you're gonna take advantage of three amazing benefits. Number one, asset protection. So your personal assets will be protected should somebody sue you. Number two, tax benefits like depreciation of your rental properties. It's a huge, huge benefit. That is why the rich, if they make $100,000, they get to keep $100,000. Whereas the middle class or the poor, if they make 100,000, guess what? They only get to keep 65,000, 70,000. The rest, the government taps into it, meaning taxes. And finally, the third benefit is funding. So when you have a business, banks are going to be lending money to you. Okay, so that is super, super important. Okay, so next, let's go into more details as to how this formula works. Okay, of buying, rehabbing, renting, and refinancing. And we're going to go over some examples. I just want you to understand the numbers. Okay, so this is a property in Cicero. So you buy a great deal. You buy a property, you have to buy a property under 200,000. That is just so critical. If you start going over 200,000, your risk goes through the roof exponentially. Okay, and you can lose money. So stay below 200,000 for the purchase price. Rehab, super important. You need to stick to properties where the rehab is less than 40,000. Super important, okay? The minute you start taking projects that are going to be over 40, 50,000, you're touching way too many things in the property. Therefore, your risk, again, goes exponentially through the roof. So in this case, you take the purchase price, the rehab, the total all-in investment, 150,000, okay? But what I said before is that you have enough equity in the property because that's what banks are gonna be looking for, enough equity in the property. As a rule of thumb, take the purchase price of 135 and add 100,000. That's how much you need from what you pay for the property and what the property should appraise for after you've done the repairs. There should be a spread of 75 to 100,000. If you have that spread, that's a great deal. And the rehab has to be less than 40,000. Okay, that's the key formula to find a great deal. So now, once you've done the purchase, you rehab the property, you rented the property, now you can refinance the property. Now, what does that mean? Why would I need to refinance? I'm gonna explain this. When you purchase the property and rehab the property, where are you gonna get the money from, okay? You are going to be using Harmony lenders. So Harmony lenders are big institutions with mutual funds backing them up. And it's gonna be expensive money, but it's quick money, easy money that you can have access to. Why do I say that it's expensive money? Because you're not gonna be paying 4, 5, 6%. You're gonna be paying 10 to 12%, up to 15%. You're gonna pay 2 points, and it's going to be a short-term loan between 4 to 12 month term, okay? So we obviously need to use that money and then pay that off as soon as possible. Now, one of the things that is so cool about these Harmony lenders is that they will finance 100% of your rehab. That's just amazing, right? So not only are they going to pay up to 90% of the purchase, but 100% of the rehab. So you need to use asset-based lenders or harmony lenders. They're going to be focusing on the deal itself. Okay, they're going to run your credit, but you know what that is? What that's going to tell them the terms of your loan. So if you have like over 700 FICO score, they're going to give you better terms, meaning better interest rate. So instead of giving you maybe 12%, they may give you 10%, okay? But your FICO score is not going to be a deal breaker whether you get the money or not. If you have a great deal, you're going to get the money regardless of your FICO score. That is super important, okay? So please don't be afraid if you don't have the best credit, okay? They're going to be looking at the property itself. They're going to price the property. If you have enough equity, boom. That's the key for you to get funding. So once you've done the purchase and the rehab and you rented the property, now it's time to pay off the high interest harmony lender. So we're going to be using conventional lenders such as the big banks, right? Like Chase, Bank of America. Our preferred lender is Homebridge, okay? And we also use other lenders like Westtown that are going to take those high expensive loans and put them into a longer term, lower interest rate. Okay, like a 20 to 30-year term, interest rate will be from 4.5 all the way to 6.5. So that's what you need as the final step in this secret sauce. Okay, and then you need to repeat this all over. So now think about this. In this case, all in is 150,000 purchase and rehab. Now you already have a lot of equity. We're gonna tap into only 66% of the equity to pay off the harmony lender. So we end up with 34% equity or 77,000. That's the secret of retiring early, building a net worth by having equity into the rentals. Okay, this is the secret. Okay, again, I'm going to repeat this. You're going to be able to retire early when you build up net worth by having positive equity in your rentals. Okay, because not only will you build wealth early on in life, but you will also have positive cash flow. Because guess what? You're not gonna be paying for that debt or the mortgage. Guess who's gonna pay for it? The tenant. And not only that, the tenant will also pay for the common utilities. They're gonna pay for like gas, electric, water. They're gonna pay for the exterior maintenance. And on top of that, you're gonna end up with positive cash flow. We aim to have 300 and up for positive cash flow per property. Okay, that is the secret. Obviously, to be able to have that, is you need to have a great deal that not only has equity, but you are going to be able to cash flow. So that is why when we buy rental properties, we look at two things. First of all, we need to make sure that we are buying rentals into a rental market, because guess what? Where you live in your neighborhood, it might not be a rental market. It might be a flipping market. So your next question is, well, Hugo, what makes a great rental market? What's a great flipping market? Very simple. A great rental market is a market where property prices are below 200,000 and rents are very close to 2,000 a month. Does that make sense? So you pay little for the property, but yet you're going to be collecting quite a lot for rents. And a flipping market is where properties are selling so fast on a monthly basis that when you want to do a flip, you buy it, you put it back on the market, and boom, it's sold, right? So oftentimes investors do not understand this concept and they buy rentals in a flipping market or vice versa. So they end up losing money. They end up break even on the property, so they're not cash flowing. So that's number one. The market needs to support your exit strategy, meaning either you flip or rental. In this case, we're going to be focusing on rental. So we are going to give you the top rental markets in the Chicagoland area and suburbs. Okay, so it's a spreadsheet that we came up with. We're gonna give it to you, so you don't need to think, work, create nothing. We're just gonna tell you the top rental markets where you need to buy rentals. Okay, so that's rule number one. Rule number two, you have to have enough equity. So to have enough equity is going to be critical for funding. So I'm going to show you where you can find those deals where you have plenty of equity. Okay. So having said that, let's dive into that. I'm just going to show you again what we're covering right now. So I'm going to cover two secrets in one shot. So you're going to need the secret sauce, which I just gave you. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat all over. Okay, that's number one. So we're gonna give you the training. And then number three, you have to have great deals. Because if you don't have a great deal, you have nothing. You've got to have a lot of equity in the property. Okay, so in fact, talking about a lot of equity, this coming Sunday, in a week from now, we're going to take you, it's going to be a really cool event. It's going to be a live event. We will also streamline online for those who can come, but I highly suggest for you to come. We can only have up to 50 people, okay, in the property. So we're going to do that. Plus somebody's going to be recording. So it's going to be live streaming, okay, at 1 p.m. next Sunday. So please make sure you come. We're going to show you how we found the property. We're going to talk about the numbers. It's going to become a rental. We've completed the rehab in 3.5 weeks, okay? I did a webinar on the before. Now we're going to show you after, okay? How much money we put into the property, where we got the money from, how we found the property, how much it's going to rent for, and so forth. So we're make sure that you RSVP because we can only take 50 people for the live event, okay? And let's dive into how you find these great deals, right? So what we've been focusing on is off-market properties, okay? So properties that are technically not for sale. And there are many type of off-market properties. I'm sure you've heard of pre-foreclosures, probates, upcoming auctions, shadow inventory, or banked-on properties. So we are focusing on one off-market lead type, and that is banked-on properties, okay? And I'm gonna tell you why we're focusing on REOs. The reason why we're focusing on REOs is very simple. So these REO properties, what does REO mean, or banked-on properties? It means that the owner went to the foreclosure process because they defaulted in the mortgage. So eventually, over time, the bank took over the property. But guess what? Banks are not in the business of real estate. Banks are in the business of lending. They want to dispose of real estate. And that's where you come into the picture. And the reason why we focus on banked-on properties or real estate or foreclosures, banked-on properties or shadow inventory is because we have built a great connection with an asset manager from Texas. So what he's done is he's got amazing connections with all these auctioning platforms like auction.com, hubzu.com. So guess what? All the inventory that is on those websites, we get a first-hand look at it. And most importantly, guess what? Even if the inventory is on those websites, we can buy those properties from the back door. So what it means is, even if people start bidding on these auctioning sites, we know how much the bank is going to sell it for, and we can buy it for that price. It is that powerful. So the last 4 or 5 properties that we bought them that way. So we found a great deal. We knew how much we needed to pay for it, and then we just put it from the back door. And that's how we've been able to get a lot of properties with a lot of equity. Okay, that funding is not a problem. So I'm going to show you where we access that inventory through ChicagoDealVault. It's called shadow inventory. So we're getting about, in this case, look at this. We have close to 700 properties. So we're getting an average of 750 new properties coming every single week. And guess what? The cool thing is that not only will you know how much the bank is going to sell it for, but you're going to be able to finance the deal. Whereas if you do it through the auctioning platforms, not only are you going to be bidding against other investors, which you might end up overpaying for the property, but oftentimes you need to pay cash for those properties, not through this system. Okay, you're going to be able to fund the transactions using an asset-based lender. So this is an example of the inventory that we got this week. So in here, you can filter the inventory. What I like to do is just put all the properties on the map. So I just click on map view, because what we're doing right now is we're focusing on A areas and B plus areas, okay? So what does that mean? A areas are the most expensive, and B areas is the bread and butter. C areas are the more challenging areas, and we stay away from D areas, right? Where other people think that your car is theirs, right? We don't even go to those areas. And not only that, but right now through the economy crisis, C and D areas were hit the hardest, because that's where the blue collar people, most of them live. So a lot of them have lost their jobs, so they can't pay rent, mortgage. Uh, so we try to stay away from those, and we stick to B plus and A minus areas. Okay, why? Because those areas were affected the least. So we want to make sure that we have collectible tenants. So this is an example. We're plotting all these bank-owned properties on the map, right? So what I like to do is because for me it's easier just to look at the map. As you can see, we're getting a lot of properties now in Indiana, which is fairly new. So what I like to do is I just focus on the best rental markets, and I just go there using the map. So let me give you an example. So for instance, I'm just gonna pull this Oakland, for instance. Okay, Oakland. I'm gonna view details for this property. So this property doesn't have much details. It just tells me that the bank is selling this for 97, but I need a little bit more details. So for now, I'm gonna close this off, and then I'm going to go to, I would say I'm gonna go to a better area. Oakland is a great rental area, rental market, but let me take you to here. I'm gonna go farther north, Oak Park, Forest Park. So right here in this intersection, so this is Maywood. No, Maywood is a C plus area. So right here, Westchester. So Westchester is a great area. Let's look at this property, okay, and see what I want to show you. So in this case, this property has been sold for 190,000 by the bank. But the first thing that we look at is location, right? If it's on the right-hand side, we look at the map, make sure that it's in a quiet street. But most importantly, remember what I told you. You need to have 75 to 100,000 spread between the purchase price to what it should appraise for. So if the property is for sale for 190, I'm expecting it to appraise for close to 300,000, which in this case it does. Okay. So now the next step is to find out if the property is vacant or occupied. If it's occupied, you've got to skip it altogether, because lenders are not going to give you money on an occupied property, because they have to come into the property, go inside, do a physical appraisal. So if somebody's living in the property, skip it, okay? So find that out. Here we're going to give you the occupancy. Even though it says occupied, oftentimes I found out that many of these properties are already vacant. So you've got to actually drive and try to see the condition of the property from the inside, because remember, you've got to keep the rehab under 40,000 for this to make sense. And then we're going to tell you the most you should pay for the property. So it is that simple. Let me go back again to the map and then show you another property. Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit farther north. This is going to be in Elmwood Park. Okay, so this property is for sale. Whoa, this is too high. The bank is asking for 306, It just doesn't make sense. Um, Look, the ARV is not even that much, so the bank is asking for way too much. In fact, friends, we're closing on a property next Tuesday in Elmwood Park. So Elmwood Park is a B plus, and we're gonna take you to this property in 2 weeks. Not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday. Okay, so actually it's on 74th Street, the one we're closing. So it's a street over this. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, great property that we bought from this inventory for 150,000. The appraisal came at 265. Okay, 265. So we have a spread of 115,000. Okay, which is huge. Okay, and we got it from this inventory. And the rehab is going to be about 35 to 40,000. Okay, so we're keeping the rehab below 40,000. If it was a good rehab, we would skip it. So let me show you. Let's go back to the map. So Elmwood Park is a great neighborhood. Let me see where this is. Chicago. Let's see, Norwich. Okay, so this is also a great neighborhood, Harwood Heights, Norwich. Again, but this property is for 240,000. So we would skip this. We want to pay below 200,000. Okay, even though yeah, there's not enough room. So 240 in this case, but the ARV does not support a lot of equity. So all you need to do is click through the icons to find a great deal. So this is Cicero. It's also a great B plus neighborhood. So let me show you these. This is for sale for 160,000. Let's see what this is all about. So 160,000 ARV. No, there's not enough equity in this. It's about the same thing. So in fact, the property that I show you in Cicero, we bought it for 130 and it appraised for 235. Okay, so it is that simple to come to the view map. To me, that's my favorite way. Let me make sure that my power is connected. Hold a second. Okay, sorry guys, we're good. My power has came off, so I want to make sure that yeah, we don't run out of power. So it is that simple how we get so many inventory that we can tap into. So let me give you an example of the property that we're going to take you on next Sunday. So the address is 915 South Elmhurst in Mount Prospect. Okay, so let me just give an example. We bought this property again from the shadow inventory, so banked on property. So this property, I'm going to show you on the map. Actually, zoom in. This is the property right here. So we are looking at it right here. This is the property. It's a brick 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's got a basement, a huge backyard. So let me tell you how this happened. So this was owned by the bank, and the bank sold it to us for 160,000. This property appraised for 285. So think about what I told you. You need at least 100,000 spread. In this case, we bought it for 160. I was hoping for an appraisal for at least 260. It appraised for over 280, right? 285. So we have enough room, and the rehab came out to be less than 35,000. I'm not going to give you the exact number because we're going to be talking about precise numbers next Sunday. Okay. So this property has enough equity. These are the type of deals that you need to focus on, and where the rehab is small to medium. Okay, it's not a good rehab where you need to do everything in the property. Okay, so please make sure that you are SVP to come see this property. It's been rehab. It took us 3.5 weeks, and not only that, but the rent on this property. Check this out. a little bit over 2,000. Why? Because Mount Prospect is an A neighborhood. Okay, schools are very good. 9 and 10 on a scale of 10. So that is why rents are very high. So this is what I was telling you. What makes Mount Prospect a great rental market? In this case, we were able to find a great deal for under 200,000, but yet the rents are over 2,000. So this makes Mount Prospect a great rental market. Plus, it's an A area, therefore you're going to get collectible tenants because A and B neighborhoods or markets, you're going to find a lot of white collar people. So in this pandemic, they get to work from home. So they have not, many of them or most of them, not lost their job because they get to work remotely. So that's a great thing about focusing on these A and B markets. Okay. So this is an example of a property that when we went to the auctioning website, guess what? People were already bidding 190,000 for these, and still there was 1 day remaining before the auction ended. So when I saw the property that the ARV had over 100,000 spread, I said to our partner, Jacob, is the property still available? He said yes, despite the fact that people were already bidding in the auctioning platform. Okay, so we said, okay, we want to pull the property, meaning buy it from the back door. So he sent us a performance agreement. Okay, it's just a contract that states that we're going to buy the property, and then in about 3 weeks we got the sales contract signed by the seller for 160,000. So obviously all the people who were bidding even more than what we paid for, tough luck, right? They were out of luck. We ended up pulling the property from the back door. And this is because our partner from Texas has incredible connections with all the asset managers in all auctioning platforms, like the major ones, auction.com, hubzu.com. So that's the beauty, and that is the reason why we're focusing on Bankton properties. Because if we see a lot of equity in a property, we know how much we can pay for the property, and we know we're going to get funding because we're looking for properties with a lot of equity. So this is how you're going to be able to build, going back to how to build a lot of net worth in such a short period of time. So think about this. If we own 30 rentals and each rental averages, let's say 50,000 in equity, that's 30 times 50, that's 1.5 million, okay, in the last 2.5 years. And then on top of that, you have the incoming cash flow, okay? So that's how you can retire in 3 to 7 years. You don't need to wait 20, 30 until you are 60, 70 years old, okay? And not only that, but start withdrawing money and then your net worth going down. No, through rentals, your net worth will continue to go up, your cash flow will continue to go up. So as you get older, you're going to become wealthier. That's the power of focusing on rentals, building a rental portfolio that not only will you accumulate wealth, but you will increase your cash flow on a monthly basis. And above all, you're going to have that freedom of time, which to me is so critical. When the pandemic started in March, we decided to go to Mexico. So we were in Mexico for 2.5 months. We visited so many relatives, spent a lot of time with family. It was incredible. We had such a blast. So you may wonder, why are we giving you all these secrets? Why are we giving you all this support? I'm gonna tell you why. Because we were in your shoes 2.5 years ago. I was listening, I was attending meetings, and now that we're able to crack the code and build these great relationships and know that it's possible, I want to make sure that you're able to replicate our success, okay? Because it's totally doable, and I want to make sure that ordinary investors like you and I start taking on the big, great deals that the pros are used to taking. Okay, it's about time for us to increase our net worth. So again, let's go back and quickly summarize what you're gonna need. You're gonna need training, in this case, the secret sauce, which is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. Okay, you're gonna need that secret sauce, and also you're gonna need great deals. So we are going to help you with the training. We have unlimited training, one-on-one via Zoom calls. Okay, and we're also gonna provide you the great deals off market. And the second thing that you need is a team. You need a team of accountants, inspectors, attorneys, brokers, lenders, contractors. So we're gonna give them all to you. All the people that we've used in the last 2.5 years, we have added them by category. Okay, so these are trusted, reliable people that we currently work with. So we're gonna give all these resources to you. I wanna make sure that overnight you have the perfect team to make your real estate investment efforts successful. Not only that, what we're also going to do is we are going to assign a dedicated virtual assistant. Remember that I mentioned that at the beginning, right here of the presentation? A virtual assistant is very, very critical. And I want to explain why that is so important to have a virtual assistant, okay, as part of your team. Because if for whatever reason you don't have time to access the system, you don't have time to look at deals, it doesn't matter. You need to have somebody to do that for you when you're not able to. Like for instance, all the pictures that I show you, do you think I'm looking at deals on the computer all day long? I'm not. I'm spending quality time with family. I'm doing what's truly meaningful in our lives, okay? But at the same time, we're not missing any great deal. Why? Because we have virtual assistants. So what I'm gonna do is we are also going to assign a dedicated virtual assistant to help you find great off-market deals on the areas of interest. If you have 10 areas, 50 areas, it doesn't matter. We're gonna need all the areas that you're interested in, and we are going to assign a dedicated virtual assistant to help you find those areas. Not only are they gonna find great deals, but they will also do the analysis for you. They're gonna do the flip and rental analysis for you. So we're gonna make all of these available to you today. Now the question is, how do you have access to these great Bankton properties? Again, as I show you, you're gonna need to have this tab enabled, the shadow inventory. So we get about 700 properties per week that you can buy from the back door. Okay, to be able to do that, you need to become, you need to be a DealVault member and have the yearly membership, okay? So when you have the yearly membership, you save about 20% compared to the monthly membership. So the monthly membership is 140, the yearly is 120 per month, okay? Less than a cup of coffee a day, okay? So the next step is for you to leverage from all these resources. I want to make sure that you have access to everything that we do, because access to the right information at the right time is critical. So not only access to the great deals, but also to training. We're going to give you unlimited training. So I want to make sure that you can tap into all our resources, and also the mentors that we have, you leverage from. So we're gonna give you access to all our mentors. We have about 5 mentors. Those are key players in the real estate industry that you are going to have access to help you build your rental empire, okay? So to get started today, I'm gonna send you a link to the form that you need to have access to that shadow inventory. Okay, so you need this form to fill out, and then we're gonna start taking questions right after this. So you need that form, and then for the package, you need special Blue Angel. Okay, if you already have access to DealVault, you can send us an email to support@ChicagoDealVault.com, and in the subject, say upgrade. Okay, in the subject, upgrade. So we will upgrade to the Blue Angel. So you're gonna be saving. It's equivalent to 120 per month, but this is billed annually. Okay, so you're gonna be saving 20%. We're gonna give you access to the shadow inventory, and we will also assign a dedicated virtual assistant. Okay, so please send those all the areas of interest. Okay, it could be 10, 30, 40, 80, as many areas as you find. Remember, the areas need to support your exit strategy. Okay, we will also send you, ask us to send you the Excel spreadsheet with the top rental and flip markets. Okay, so sign up if you still don't have access, and we're going to give you pretty much all the resources that it takes for you to be able to achieve that financial objective, and most importantly, that freedom of time, right? Because life without freedom is not a life. So we're going to show you how to stop chasing money and how to make money work for you through rentals using our secret sauce, getting Bankton properties under contract, and access to all our resources, meaning the team that you need, attorneys, brokers, inspectors, and most importantly, a VA, so that in case you don't have time, one day you're not missing anything, okay? So super important. Now, I'm gonna take some questions. How do you find quality tenants for your single family homes? What's your criteria? Okay, great question. So what we found is that when you do a nice rehab on the property, you're gonna attract better tenants. But we always check credit, criminal background, and eviction background. Okay, so we're hoping for the tenant to have over 650 FICO score, no criminal records, and enough income. So there's the 40 rule of thumb. So if the rent is 1,000, they need to make at least 40 times that amount. So they need to make at least 40,000. Okay, very simple. If the rent is 2,000, they need to make at least 80,000 a year. So we thoroughly qualify tenants. Okay, so we have to check everything about them, including employment and referrals. Another question. Let me see. Do you find it more challenging to rent single family homes? No, actually, it's easier to rent single family homes, okay? Because that's what people desire. They want to live in a single family home versus an apartment, okay? So it's easier to rent single family homes, especially when you've done a nice rehab, okay? So I'm going to be taking questions on the line for the next 5 minutes. Are there any questions on the line? I want to make sure that you fully take advantage of what I explained to you. I want to make sure that you don't wait until you are 60, 70 to accumulate enough wealth, net worth, and cash flow to retire. I want to make sure that you can retire in 3 to 7 years by accumulating rentals with a lot of equity that produce enough cash flow to you for you to have that financial freedom. And most importantly, again, freedom of time. Remember, what retirement looks like is there's no distinction between a Monday from a Saturday or a Wednesday from a Saturday. Even you happen to lose track of the day and the time when you're having so much fun, okay? So I want to make sure that you accomplish that objective. That is why we're allocating all our resources for you to have success today, not in 10 months, few years down the road, today. Okay, so I want to make sure that you take advantage of all these resources because we were in your shoes 2.5 years ago. So I want to make sure that you don't make the mistakes we've made and you leverage from all the preferred partners that we build, all these relationships, the mentors that we have that are at your disposal. Any other questions on the line? Okay, so another question is, do we have multi-units? Yes, there are multi-units also available in this inventory that I show you on the map. You're gonna find 2 to 4 flats as well, okay? And in fact, there was a really great deal that showed up in Little Village. It was a 3 flat for 89,000. It was just a great deal that we happened to see this week. So yeah, absolutely, you're gonna be able to tap into multi-units. Okay, so please make sure that you RSVP for next Sunday's live event. So we're gonna have up to 50 people, okay, at the property. So please make sure that you RSVP for this live event. We will also stream live at 1 p.m. on Sunday, okay? So if you cannot make it, make sure that you watch it online. It's gonna be live streaming on Sunday, next Sunday, 1 p.m. But if you can make it to the property, it's going to be even better, okay? So we're gonna have a professional videographer doing the live streaming for us. So it's gonna be super cool. First time we do this, a live and also online event at the same time. So make sure that you RSVP. So I'm gonna remain on the line for the next 5 minutes to help answer any questions or help you get sign up if you're still if you still don't have access to the shadow inventory or the Blue Angel package. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining on a Sunday. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. We're going to be talking about connecting with sellers without spending thousands. Okay, and then make sure that you RSVP for next Sunday's event. Okay, live event, up to 50 people at the property. Okay, we're gonna walk you through the entire process from purchasing, rehabbing, renting, refinancing, the whole formula that I gave you today. We're gonna walk over every single step next Sunday at the property. Okay, so that you see it, you feel it live, and you get the chance to network with other investors like yourself. So please make sure that you come next Sunday